What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, checking out something a little bit different in the Wuben E62. This is a Penlight style multi-tool that I got through the Going Gear subscription a few months back, but you can actually pick these up from Wuben directly for $42. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description if you're interested in picking one of these up. But one of the reasons I really enjoy these subscriptions is that this is something I definitely wasn't actively seeking out. It almost certainly wouldn't have come across my table had it not been for that subscription. And it's actually a pretty cool little tool. I think it fits really well in very specific roles, something like a small tool roll. Maybe you have like a specialty kit, like a bicycle maintenance kit, for example. This is gonna slot into a pen slot perfectly, since that's obviously what it's modeled after. And the light itself really lends itself nicely to those type of tasks. It's more of an area light than a direct tight beam, and so really like this for those type of scenarios. Now obviously Wuben is a flashlight company, so the flashlight's going to be the star of the show, but there are a couple other tools in here we'll talk about. But before we do any of that, let's talk dimensions. So I mentioned it's the shape of the pen, so similar dimensions there. We're talking 5.75 inches long and about a ½ inch wide at the thickest point. You can see some sides are a little bit narrower than others, but at the thickest you're looking at about ½ an inch wide. 1.63 ounces, that is with the built-in non-replaceable 120 milliamp lithium polymer battery. 5-year warranty on these, so no way to replace that battery as far as I know. They're not something they sell separately, but they do offer a 5-year warranty if it ends up dying before then. Have a nice dust cover here over our micro USB charging port, and this one's actually pretty easy to get in and out of. Sometimes there can be kind of difficult, but this has a nice flap to get under there. We're going to offer some dust resistance and again IP68 water resistance. That's 2 meters for up to an hour. I haven't tested that. That's just kind of what they quote on the site. Now, in terms of functionality on this light, really easy to operate. There's 4 modes in total, 3 in the main section and 1 that you have to do some special controls to get to, which we'll show. But the main 3, you click it, it does have a memory mode, and that includes the specialty signal mode. So wherever you leave it, when you click it up back on, it's going to come back on in that mode. I believe we're in medium right now, so let's get down to low. Yeah, there we go. So our low or moonlight mode, this is only 3 lumens, so not super bright, but in exchange we get a nice runtime of about 15 hours. So if you really need to extend the battery life, you can use this low lumen mode. Now this is only really going to be good for, finding your keyhole, reading a physical map, or really any paper in a dark area. Not really lighting anything up though. But from there it jumps up to a really respectable 30 lumens. This is a very usable amount of lumens, works well for a lot of different scenarios, and if you need a little bit more, you can jump up to 130 lumens. And as you can see, it's got a nice wide area that it's lighting up. It's not a tight focus beam, doesn't really have any sort of hot spot unless you get really close, obviously, but it's not a super focused beam, but really great for just lighting up a small area. Now, whether we're on or off, we can get into our signal mode by double clicking on that button. So right now we're in low, but if we double click, we will jump over to our signal mode, which is a red and blue flashing light. Now, I'm pretty sure this is actually illegal in this light configuration in the United States because it is reserved for law enforcement. That may only be on vehicles, but I think if you were to use this on the road, you might at least get some heavy questioning. And so obviously be careful with that. I'm not super concerned with that. If you really need to signal something, this is better than nothing, to be sure. Now, memory mode does include that. So if we click it off and click it back on, it's going to go right back into our signal mode. So make sure to cycle back into one of those white light modes before turning it off if you want to have that memory stay there. But really easy operation overall. Pretty happy with the light on this one. Now, in addition to that, we do have a pocket clip, really nice pocket clip that definitely could pass for a standard pen. Slides in and out of the pocket really easy, perfect for those front shirt pockets, or again, a pen slot in a pouch I think is an ideal role for this one. No lockout mode is worth mentioning as well. I haven't had any issues with accidentally deploying it. You need a pretty solid click to turn it on and off, but it is still a possibility that can turn on and deplete your battery in your pocket. But on the tip, we do have a glass breaker, so that's not a pen. Even though this is a pen light, it doesn't actually have a physical writing pen in it. It's just a style of light. And so in the place where your pen would typically deploy, we have this glass breaker. Honestly, I could take it or leave it. I'd much prefer an actual pen here, but they would have to redesign this entire flashlight in order to accommodate a pen on this one, because you can see where that light is housed, where our battery is. All of that is in the space where the ink would normally live on a pen. And so it makes sense that it's not there. I don't really ever find myself needing a glass breaker. And even if I did, it would be unlikely that I happen to have this one readily accessible and ready to use. And so again, I could take it or leave it. I understand just throwing an extra tool on there. But the other one is actually a pretty useful and cool tool. And that's going to be our number 11 replaceable surgical blade. And so that just flips out of here. It is a slip joint, so no lock on there. But it does kind of lock into that open position. You need a little bit more pressure to break past that, and then once you break past it, it kind of slides free. But if you're cutting with it, obviously that pressure is going to be pushing the blade backwards and keep it from closing on you. So going to be really usable. I think this is great, again, in those type of kits. Say you have like duct tape in a repair kit. Much better to have something like this to cut through than just biting through it with your teeth or using your keys or whatever the case may be. So I really like having that on there. Now on the website, they show this like cutting through fruit and stuff like that. I could honestly not imagine using this to like cut an apple, for example. Not really going to be great for that utility, but it is replaceable. So if you do gunk it up, you can just pop it off and replace that. You're still going to have to clean the housing around it though. Just probably not the ideal use case for it, but great for opening packages, again, cutting through like duct tape, strings, and things like that, cordage, just light duty type uses. And I do find that to be extremely useful. So I think this is a pretty cool one. We got a Phoenix Penlight. I don't remember if it was right before or right after this one, within a couple months of this one. And the fit and finish on this one is significantly better than that Phoenix. I also prefer the light on this Wuben E62 to the Phoenix version, although that one's no slouch either. I just like this kind of area light that we have, where the Phoenix one's a little bit smaller and more focused. This one lights up a better area, so I do prefer it for this style of light. Overall though, I think a pretty solid tool. $42, it doesn't seem too unreasonable to me, but let me know what you think down in the comments below. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, joining the channel as a member, or checking out some of my other videos. All help the channel out a ton. And as always, I hope you have a great one. Take care.